Juju Gang, happy Sunday. A special Sunday, actually, today, and I think you know why, judging by the title, probably the thumbnail, everything else. We got some breaking news in the Tesla world. And by the way, let me know if my audio is coming in clear in the chat. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from, city, state, country. I see Brian in the chat from My Tesla Weekend. Awesome channel. Go follow him. I see Marco, our awesome mod. Trauma, how's it going? Hanif. Yes, we're going to talk about it very shortly here. Willie, Mark. Awesome. Okay, everyone's tuning in. Tesla Hype. Okay, before I start reading out people's names and city, places, countries, let's just bury the hatchet. So Tesla deliveries have come in, and actually, what I should probably do here is go straight to. Do I have what? Okay, whatever. It is what it is. So Tesla has reported, this is from Gary Black, 423,000 EVs sold in the first quarter, ahead of Wall Street estimates at 421. And we'll talk about this in a second. It seems to be a hot button discussion on Twitter. And easily a new quarter record, beating last quarter at 405. Quarter one production was at 440.8, rounding up 441,000. And days of inventory about 16, up from 13 in fourth quarter, which is respectable given efforts to smooth that delivery wave. Quarter one deliveries up 36%. And I got a lot of data to crack through. I was putting up a spreadsheet. I tweeted something out that I'll get to here in a second. But this chart I quite like. And this is from our friend Pill Oli on Twitter, at Pill Oli. And this is Tesla deliveries per year and quarter. So you'll see here, quarter one, 2023 has eclipsed, of course, last quarter by, and I got my spreadsheet ready here, by 36.43%. And what's interesting as well, and I tweeted this out slightly incorrectly, but for the most part, I think you guys will agree that this point still stands. And let me move my fat head here. So quarter one growth over previous fourth quarter. What do I mean by that? So 423, follow my cursor here, 423,000 cars delivered this quarter is up from 405 last quarter. By how much, you ask? 4.37%. Now, I wanted to see in history going back, how do quarter ones perform over that last quarter? So quarter over quarter growth. And you'll see here, for all intents and purposes, this is the highest, this is the largest quarter one beat quarter over quarter, other than the quarter in 2016, 2017, when Tesla did 22,000 vehicles and 25,000 vehicles sequentially, which would be a 12.6% growth. But come on, let's be honest, you know, those numbers, should they really count in our analysis? I don't know. It just sounds better here, at least, that we can say recent history, let's say. So those are our quick number stats. We'll get into a lot of data analysis with this, but we'll get into how the stock will react here shortly. I've got some Cybertruck updates here, of course. I've got some V11 stuff, and I've got a couple, stick around for some CNBC videos, which everyone seems to love, and Yahoo Finance videos that everyone seems to love to watch every week as well. So let me read out, and I'll pull up Webull here, 207.46 closing on Tesla. Let's talk about the week ahead as well, as we try to gear up for probably what will be more of a consequential week than we've seen in the last little bit. Tesla hype. We're always sitting on Tesla. Yes, Anoop. Thank you. Appreciate that. Go get the hat for yourself. TSLAJuju.com. Coupon code Juju. DRK. Abe, how's it going? Paul says FSD update had a flawless 3-hour drive. There you go. We were talking about FSD last week with Paul. FSD V11. Give me your thoughts as well. And I'll read off some city, state, countries now. Austria. Michael, how's it going, my friend? Taiwan. There we go. Mimi, how's it going? Make sure to hit that like. Appreciate that, DRK. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button as well. Rudy from SF. First Sunday Power Hour. Let's go. Epigenetics. Thanks for joining us. Hadouken. Boyle, how's it going? Southern California. Let me try to catch up to the chat here. I know it's a little bit slower. How's it going, Richard? Man, it's hard to see with the glare on this hat right now. Okay. Happy Q1 numbers to you too. Okay, there we go. Norway, Florida, La Crosse, Wisconsin, Sweden, Atlanta, Agora Hills, Italy. Not very nice. Portland, though actually an hour north. Okay. Well, actually an hour closer to me then. Montreal, Norway, Hamburg, Germany, where the famous hamburger comes from, I think. Hotlanta, dirty old Banff, been to Banff last year. It was not dirty, I'll tell you that. Juju County, how's it going, David? Missouri, Sweden, Austria. And by the way, if you're watching on replay, throw in the comments as well where you're tuning in from. I always go back and read all those. Jacksonville, Florida, Austria as well. St. Thomas, Ontario, nice. Hopefully it's not snowing there. Marker from the Netherlands. Happy Sunday, Juju Gang. Happy Sunday to everyone as well. Thanks for joining me. You guys could be anywhere. Let's hang out. Let's talk Tesla. Chicago. V11 tried to go 45 in a parking lot early this morning. Okay. 45 is a little bit fast. I'm guessing you're not talking kilometers either. Fort Collins, Colorado, Milwaukee, Cape Cod, Netherlands, UK, Lausanne, I'm sorry, Switzerland, Maryland, Los Angeles, California, Twin Cities, Germany. I think I'm catching up here, but you guys are fast. Mark is asking how many GG members do we have from Australia in this stream. I think timing might be a little bit off for them, so I'm not sure. North Carolina, West Portland, London, UK. Holy crap, you guys are fast. Oklahoma, I'm trying to catch up. Slovakia, Nicaragua, Louisiana. Oh, Louisiana, Switzerland. Yeah, that's what I thought. San Mateo, South Carolina, Vienna, Austria. Okay, and by the way, I'll try to read out some more as we go on here. We got Toronto as well. No one from Van today. It is what it is. So 207.46 in on Tesla. Here are the key numbers I'm watching for this week as we move forward. A couple key numbers. 200-day moving average. Do we get slapped off of this thing yet again? And I say yet again because I guess we got slapped off middle of February. This is going to be a key resistance level to watch. It's currently sitting at around 215. Okay, so all intensive purposes, we want to close above this. It's not good enough just trading above it intraday. Closing above this is going to be key and having a follow through day. So do we get that this week? I think with this delivery numbers and analyst consensus being beat by only a couple thousand, maybe the whisper being a little bit higher even than that, and so there's some confusion between that. I don't think we run this week barring macro being very strong. I think it'll be pretty much a flat-ish neutral trading day tomorrow. But I want to ask you guys in the chat, what do you guys think? Green, red, or flat? Throw in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see the general consensus. I was gonna do a poll, but I think leaving a comment's just probably easier, because the delivery numbers were good. They were in line, but it wasn't a shock. So whenever you don't have a shock, I just get to the point where I'm not really entirely sure how much of this is unexplained. I mean, the numbers are great. Don't get me wrong, and I see the comments flooding in here. Pretty much a mix actually. Flat. Red, green, red, green. So 50%, so 40% are saying red, 40% looks like are saying green, saying purple, and a couple of flat. So I think that evens out to pretty much flat. Actually more red now. Okay, actually more red now. Interesting. So a lot of you guys are thinking that we're going to be red, perhaps, moving in. Honestly, it wouldn't shock me. But the numbers themselves, right? One interesting number to take away from this is our trailing 12-month deliveries number. It's at 1.427 million. This is actual, right? So we have actually delivered, Tesla has actually delivered 1.427 million cars in the last trailing year. Now, of course, 2 million is the goal this year. And if we annualize out our number for quarter one and we assume no growth off quarter one, we get to about 1.7 million, right? 1.7 million. So we need to see Tesla still grow, 300K over this. So 17% past what it has right now off of a run rate. And so 17%, 3 quarters. Let me just do some quick math. Actually, let's just do it on Excel. 17 divided by 3. I could do mental math, but I want to know exactly. So about 5.6. So about 5% quarter after quarter after quarter growth, if I'm doing my numbers right, off of deliveries to hit that 2 million. So a lot of conversation about deliveries as well, and I see that happening in the chat. There's a lot more deliveries in terms of absolute number of cars being delivered. But you have to remember as well, I think the bigger number to worry about is not really the amount of deliveries. It's the, hold on, let me just pull up the chat down here. I think I lost my chat. Okay. But the bigger number to really think about here is not necessarily the inventory level. It's the days of inventory, but also the percentage. Is the percentage of cars that Tesla has in inventory based off of their sales increasing or decreasing. And what you want to see is essentially that flatlining or going down, right? If you see that number going up, that's where days of inventory is accumulating past. So I guess we'll see. And don't want to zoom in too much. And I got some Cybertruck news as well. But Royce, thanks for that. Thanks for tagging me in this chart. Awesome chart. We also got some Cybertruck spottings happening all around town, whether it was in Fremont, I think in Mexico, we also got some too. And then you guys know Tesla tweeted that Cybertruck video. Let me pull this up. Have you guys seen this video yet from Tesla? It's just, why is Tesla so far down that list? The Cybertruck crash test April Fool's video. You know, you talk about, this video was just, it was too much for me to handle. It took me a while to realize what was happening. I was like, can we just get to, okay? And I was like, oh, it's April Fool's. I think I watched it right when I woke up in the morning. So there's that video, but man, I can't get sick of looking at that thing. I know you guys, I've said it before. The breast crash is no crash. You know, I've said it before. I wasn't the earliest believer on the Cybertruck design. But man, looking at that thing now, I just have to wonder, like, can we just, man, a few more months, right? A few more months, this is gonna be out, right? This is gonna be out. And I also tweeted something to this effect as well. I tweeted out, and it maybe was a little bit too cynical, but right here. By the way, this is my prediction for Tesla production deliveries. Number one, Tesla obliterates an analysis compiled consensus. I don't think they obliterated. Got a couple thousand over. It is what it is. Analysts get upset. Analysts proceed to whine about production being greater than deliveries, failing to understand Tesla's new delivery cadence. I would say that's about a 50% accuracy rate on my tweet there. But this is what I tweeted in terms of being cynical, right? I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not getting excited about the Cybertruck release until I actually see new pricing. I reckon Tesla would have to give reservation holders at least a 3-month notice to a large change for the heads up. Until then, I'm assuming a Cybertruck is still in delay. And I said, can you tell I'm somewhat jaded about Tesla timelines? So, you know, I would say, is that fair for me to say? And I'm gonna throw in the chat the invitation link if anyone wants to hop in the stream and call into the show. But is that fair? 3 months? Like, let's say if Cybertruck pricing is gonna go up 25-30%. Is that not fair to give reservation holders at least a quarter to come up with that extra money or that loan or whatever it is? Like, that's what I think. So I like, a lot of people seem to think, well, they can come out and they can say Cybertruck pricing is now 30% higher and we're starting to deliver next month. And by the way, if you had a reservation, we're not honoring that. It's higher now. And also you have to take delivery. If not, you go to the back of the line. I just don't think that's fair. And I don't think that's what they're going to do. So using that kind of logic, I'm just thinking the Cybertruck is not coming out for the next 3 to 6 months using this kind of cadence, right? Also, crash testing is also a thing that maybe that was a full-on April Fool's joke. Actually, it probably was a full-on April Fool's joke. There was some debate whether or not this video was actually real. But if you look at the people in the back, like how fake of an act, like their acting is terrible, right? Let me pull it up. And maybe maybe this could be a real test. Like, oh, this thing. Like, hold on. Look, come on. Look at the faces. Okay, that doesn't look too fake. I feel like if I was there too, I'd probably have a smirk on my face. Okay, it's not that fake, but this guy looks kind of fake. Let's be honest. This guy right here. So I'm not sure if these are actors, because you know I was really trying to 4D read into this, because I was like, if these are actors, then obviously there's no crash testing happening. But maybe the crash test, maybe it's a 4D April Fool's joke, right? They're faking the Cybertruck crash test for April Fools, and this is actually the real crash test, and that we're not going to know about it, and we're all going to think it's fake and it's April Fool. Okay, who knows? Now I'm just getting ahead of myself. Let's bring on our friend of the show. Actually, I don't think Brian's been on before. Let me add on Brian. Brian, for My Tesla Weekend, let me pull up banners here so everyone can go check him out. My Tesla Weekend, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know about him and his channel. How's it going, my friend?
Good. What an excitement thing. Oh, so we've got, we got a little bit of echo there. Cybertruck, you should definitely get more time on that, especially with rates having gone up, especially with the price is definitely going to be higher.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I do think that crash test was absolutely real.
Oh, okay. Okay. And what makes you think that?
I think the excitement on their faces was absolutely genuine,
Hmm.
and the speed the vehicle was going, I think that was real footage.
Interesting. Okay, so let me pull up their face so we can analyze, we can overanalyze together. This lady threw me off. You know, it was
That
like
looks like
she,
genuine joy to me.
I don't know, dude. It's quite. It's like it's good placement, right? Put her right in the front. Have her do the most. Yeah. Okay. Now we're definitely reading into this too much, but it is what it is, right? This is a talk show. But like, look at her. Look at her face. Like, I just feel like that's something a director would say. As a professional director myself, not. I feel like I would tell her like, okay, make sure you do something outlandish because you're going to be in the center of the shot.
And you get 10 takes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but you're right because the guy in the back is not is really not caring about it, which makes me think like if this was fake, this they would all have to be faking it somewhat.
Right. They would all have to be like those very real Chevy buyers on those commercials.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Or they have to be one of those all the employees at the GM conferences that they have for the EV or the GM show and tells. Yeah, those little bots. So but that's exciting. So you think it's real, and so you think what Cybertruck deliveries maybe start later this fall? This fall?
Yeah. Late Q3 is my guess. I mean, we're seeing
Okay.
some prototypes, but we haven't seen any evidence that the 9,000 ton press is working. The second one appears to have been delivered. It's in, but we don't know if how long it's going to take to configure. The huge buildup of castings you see outside the casting cathedral indicates that they might be trying to overproduce so that they can shut down the
Hmm.
machines entirely to put in the new vents and whatnot for the final casting machine. It would be pretty helpful to have that backlog because when those shut down, they take a while to turn back on.
Interesting. So I actually like this kind of balance because you're balancing my jadedness out a little bit here by bringing some optimism into the chat. So do you think how do they announce pricing really being somewhat like it's just going to be a tough sell. It's not going to be a tough sell because people are going to buy it, but it's just going to be something that they're going to have to manage backlash on. I think when they raise prices by how much they're probably going to have to at this point.
I agree. They're going to have to go. I think they're going to go for the first one out. I think they're going to go all the way to 80,000 so they can still get the credit, so that buyers can still get the credit. Those batteries are made right there in Nevada or in Austin.
Hmm.
The materials, we don't know where they're from. It's very likely they're from a place that would qualify a free trade country. So, but I think they're going to go all the way to 80,000 for the first ones, in part because they can, and in part because they have to. Inflation alone has added 10,000 to the
Yeah,
all the original
exactly.
stickers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's yeah, and I guess they that's what I'm saying is if they're gonna do that, 3 months would be the minimum, I think, to be respectable to reservation. People have been holding reservations for years. You're just going to be like, you have 1 month to come up with this newfound money, and if you don't, you're in the back of the line. I think they know that. They're smart enough to know that. So I think they're going to be at least 3 months is my guess, right?
I think absolutely. If early 3 and Y reservation holders were given more time than that before they were
Okay.
finally told you got to be bumped to the back of the line. I don't think they'll allow you to go out a year like they used to, but
Hmm.
3 to 6 months seems entirely reasonable.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's not
six
like they're
months.
going to
Yeah.
have a shortage of customers
No.
interested in buying them. And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people we saw who have 5, 10, 50, 100 reservations. While they may not get their full 100, the people who got 5 early on, if you've got a reservation number under 20,000 for 5, you're going to pick up all 5 and you're going to flip them.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's a problem in and of itself. But like trauma comments here. Why would I pay more than my guaranteed reservation price? I had an X that was on reservation 40K below less than the asking price, and Tesla was honoring it. What do you say to that?
It wasn't a guaranteed reservation price.
Yeah.
What you guaranteed was a reservation, not a price.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't. When I saw 39,000 for a rear wheel drive, and that was going to be the launch edition,
Mhm.
boy, I was excited.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I doubted it even then, because we've never
Mm.
seen the launch prices. We've never seen prices that came in where they were supposed to be, except kind of on the Model Y.
Yeah. 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 Actually, yeah, because, and that was mostly because the Model Y just played off of the Model 3 platform, and like people knew what the costs were generally going to be after that.
Right. And it actually came
Yeah.
out early. That was the one car
Yeah.
that came out early.
Yeah. Roadster enters the chat.
Roadster, my friend, will not enter the chat for some time.
Roadster is still trying to get in line to enter the chat.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine because it's not going to do volumes, right?
No.
And I'm definitely not. I'm not buying a Roadster, so it's not like I'm going to care about that too much.
And I would like to see them build the Roadster in such a way that it could be a platform for a next generation S and X, because those
Mm,
the delivery to production imbalance shows that the appetite for $100,000 cars of a design that really hasn't changed in 10 years is
yeah.
waning, perhaps.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I still think, like, what was the Roadster supposed to start at in terms of generally for
I think
price?
200. I think it's
Okay,
supposed to start at 200.
I'm still of the mind that Tesla should do like a Bugatti type of car that they sell for millions of dollars, and they only make like a handful of them. But it's like it could be all margin, right? Like they could sell, if Tesla sold a car that was very different looking and they only made 2,000 a year, 1,000 a year, they could sell for millions of dollars. There, people would buy it. There's so much money in this world and so many Tesla fans that someone would pick up the tab on these special uh luxury, ultra luxury type of high end vehicles that were really high end margin. I think Tesla should implement some portion of that and then just call it like marketing. Like it could be like a marketing expense for them.
Sure, it's their Halo car. They could do that. The thing to remember though is even the Bugattis with all that margin, they're still not insanely profitable, because you still have to do all
Mm,
the engineering as if you were going to build millions of them. You just go
that's fair.
fancy on the trim.
That's fair. That's a good point. Yeah, I guess that would complicate. But yeah, that's just like my hill. Like I think Tesla should serve that high end because people will buy it. Like more so. Like people talk about luxury cars out there. I think if Tesla made a ultra, like if they made one of the world's most expensive cars, they could sell them.
I believe that is absolutely true, and I'd love to see it. I think it'd be interesting to see Fremont just become a boutique manufacturing facility where they make things like Roadster and other Halo vehicles that they're not going to make millions and millions of, because the efficiencies of the newer factories have proven themselves, and Fremont is kind of a drag on the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, Fremont's actually doing quite well now. I mean, they've made some changes. Tom Zoo's come in, right? And they've done some good work with their lines there, and they're ramping. I think Elon still wants it to be a high producing North American plant, but they could do like a subdivision or something within Fremont.
Well, they need to start tearing some buildings down and putting in ones of the newer design philosophies,
Mm,
which I think we probably won't see now until after until after Mexico is ramped and the
right.
Gen 3 philosophy is fully implemented and understood in a way that can be duplicated without having to do a lot of rework, which is
Yeah.
something that happens with agile construction. You see it in
Mm,
Texas all the time, where they'll put in pavement, they'll tear the pavement out. They put it in, they
mm,
tear it out again. The number of times they've repaved individual sections is crazy. And the same
right.
thing goes on inside. They're removing floors. They're adding things that weren't supposed to be there. They have to dig it out and put in whole new foundations to
Mm,
handle weight for things that weren't part of the original plan. And in terms
mm.
of the ramp in Austin, we're only seeing production from one line so far, and they're already around 4,000 a week. They've
Yeah.
got two more lines that are well underway that are going going in right now and
Yeah.
will be out soon.
Austin is exciting. What are you most
Very
excited
exciting.
about with Austin? Is it the margins? Is it just the volumes?
It's the volumes and it's the Cybertruck. The
No.
line for Cybertruck is going to move so quick. There's very little stamping. There's no paint. Uh, paint takes up a lot of space. You got to dry the cars. They paint them, they ship them up into the rafters where they sit for a day drying and curing. That's a lot of space.
Yeah.
This eliminates that. And Elon said in a tweet recently, yesterday, I think, that he just walked the entire Cybertruck production line, which tells us
Right.
that the line itself is going in. And we know
Mm.
at least one of the two casting machines is in place. So that tells me Q3 is going to see, I believe, some deliveries. I don't know how many.
Okay.
I don't know how quick the ramp will be, but Cybertruck is what excites me in Austin.
And that tweet that you're referring to, I'm gonna pull it up here. That tweet that you're referring to, when he says that, is that different than when he's been saying that in the past? And this is the tweet right here. Walked whole Cybertruck production line at Giga Texas for several hours earlier today. Gonna be awesome. Feels like the future. Is this notably different than what we've heard from Elon before in terms of his like, oh,
In
I'm
terms of
walking the line?
Cybertruck, well, boy, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it is different. I think what it tells us is while the line isn't finished, the whole skeleton is in place and parts are going in, and the schedule is clear to him, even if it's not clear to us.
Yeah, that's true. I I'm a big believer that Tesla should just have a couple of these Cybertruck because obviously they've made them, right? I'm not sure if it's legal to drive them anywhere just yet. Um, but just release a couple, give one to like a couple of famous people and just have them drive it around town. Like it's free marketing. Everyone is going to be Snapchatting, Instagramming, Facebooking, and tweeting about these cars as they roll around their cities. And it can just build up so much hype around Tesla in the meantime before they start deliveries.
That's a very good idea. And even the ones we're seeing in from the sky, uh, show me another company where people are flying over their factories every day around the world. That's crazy. This isn't, we've never seen this kind of hype, not even with Apple. And that was an exciting company with a lot of exciting products. So yeah, Texas is exciting. And
Yeah.
there's just so much going on. It's great.
Why don't you fill people in a little bit about your channel, what you talk about, because you have it's a large resource, especially of the factory lines and the more the nitty gritty. Why don't you tell people a little bit about that?
Sure, I appreciate that. The thing that I did first that was kind of big was I would do these regular side by side videos showing the weekly construction updates, and I
Hmm.
still do those. I only do them once a month, where I say this, this factory they did this, and you see it on screen, and it gives a good overview of what's going on. And I try and keep it to about 5-6 minutes, so it's nice and tight, and it's a
Hmm.
lot of work to edit. And
Yeah.
then the other thing that I've done historically is predict when factories will be finished and do it with math and with spreadsheets and all that. And in Texas, I got to within, I think, 2.5 weeks of accurate from starting when they had just pillars, a handful of columns poking out of the dirt. And
Mm.
uh, and I will be doing that again with Mexico and other factories in the future. So those are a lot of fun. What I like to do is a lot of spreadsheets and math stuff, and try and find angles that other people haven't covered. And
Mm.
I travel a lot. I went
Mm.
to
Yeah.
Fully Charged in San Diego. I went to the LA Auto Show opening. I went to
Yeah.
the Texas, the Reno event. I went to Texas twice, and I just get out there and I try and make it happen, man. I try and make the magic happen
I
because
love
there's
that.
a lot of information that you can't always get from your desk, and I do my best to get it from my desk,
Yeah.
but sometimes I just got to get out there and meet people. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I love about you and your channel. And it's by the way, fun fact for everyone: Brian and I were supposed to actually meet up for an EV conference here in Vancouver, and we had it all planned out. We had several meetings, and then unfortunately, last minute got that. What I don't know what happened really, but kind of the plug got pulled because of construction. So maybe in the future they rerun it and everyone's still invited and the gang's back. But from there, I've got to know Brian a little bit and his work. So I agree. The amount of traveling and the insights that you do as I consider myself more of a stock guy. I'm not a manufacturing engineering guy. I have to really rely on expertise from other people and the kind of general consensus and then make my own deductions from there. And without people like yourself and the work that you do, it just would be it would just be insurmountable for me to actually try to figure out. So we all appreciate your work.
Wow, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I also do quarterly production estimates. I don't do delivery estimates because that's outside my wheelhouse, and I got within 0.83% on this one,
Very
which
nice.
is
Yeah.
which is good. Which is good. I'm happy with that.
Were you at 444? Was it or
Yeah,
four
444 something. I
something?
can
Something. Yeah. Okay. That's
yeah
awesome.
yeah 444 489.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So appreciate you coming on. And if there's anything that we can do as a community to get better together, let us know. And hopefully we can meet together in person at some point.
Yeah, and I'd love to have you on my show sometime. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, if possible.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Just DM me or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Awesome.
right. Well, thank you for having me on.
Take care. Awesome. Shout out to Ryan for coming on. Appreciate that. What's funny also is that EV conference that was supposed to happen here. I was super jazzed about because in the first, I'm like, man, I'm going to be speaking at an EV conference. Like this is going to be sick, and it's local, and everyone's going to be coming here. And then it's funny because it was just a one email kind of, oh, it's canceled, right? It was just, it was just like a one email
Very
type
quick.
it was very quick. So, but it's okay. Everything happens for a reason. And then I didn't get to go to San Diego for fully charged, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. I'm
Thanks,
going to
Brian.
head out. Thank you so much.
Take care. Awesome. Give it up for Brian. Go check him out, My Tesla Weekend, on Twitter and also on YouTube. Let's continue the convo about, let's watch a video. Okay. And by the way, I got a question here from Hanif that I want to address. Will Yashu plan a cross-country trip with his Cybertruck when it arrives? I have not ordered a Cybertruck. My dad has, so maybe with his. But you bring up a good point. Didn't Elon say the Cybertruck was going to do a cross-country trip when that was going to get released? That was supposed to happen like 2 years ago, right? So I guess we'll see. Okay, but let's watch. I got a couple good videos lined up here. So first, let's start with our friend Chris at Dirty Tesla. There's one clip here with V11 that I wanted to get your guys' look at and thoughts on. Okay, so check this out. So V11, he's turning left here.
Or none of these people want to. This guy's gonna stop. Let's see how fast Beta will take this.
So look, he's turning left. The guy's
So he gave me the wave. Are you gonna do
waving
it?
through.
It's way too
And look, it's not going. So at this point, I'm like, okay, it's very timid. Doesn't know what it's doing. But check this out.
timid. So, oh,
And look at that. The blind lane, there was a car zipping through, albeit turning right. Hard to tell from any direction.
hey, there you go. There's a reason to be timid.
Let's watch that.
And okay, I'm gonna push accelerate. Oh, hey.
That's very impressive to me. And also, if you look at the visualizations on the bottom here, check out the visualizations, because for a split second, you can actually see Tesla actually recognize that there's a car in that lane.
Let's see how fast Beta will take this.
Right here.
So he gave me the wave. Are you gonna do it? It's way too timid. So, oh, hey, there you go. There's a reason to be timid. And okay, I'm gonna push the accelerator because now it's stopping in the road. There's another intervention for you. I'm actually gonna report that. That's another good case. But yeah, it was weird because it wasn't highlighting them in blue, but it also didn't really trust its ability to make that left, which once that.
So V11 is getting to a point, and I heard Farzad talking about this on his channel, where it's less about how technical it is and about how much more natural it's apparently seeming for everyone. So I'm excited to see where FSD V11 goes and the updates that come. V11 again is going to be a point where Tesla has to, and again, I'm beating a dead horse. I've said this a million times, but Tesla has to, in my eyes, announce some sort of partnership with a city or a district where they're going to announce that they're going to test out their fleet with V11 or with whatever. I just don't think we're going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be solved and everyone's going to be off to the races, riding people around driverless. So that's what I'm waiting for. And I reckon that's probably at least a 3 to 6 month process there to happen. But this particular part of this V11 video, I was very impressed by, because this is a very common scenario that happens here, because we have 3 lanes, the third most lane being a parking lane, but during rush hour it turns into a bus lane. But a lot of cars zip through there illegally, and that was very impressive to me to see. Okay, so let's check this out. So Tesla will keep increasing market share throughout 2023, says Canaccord's George Janarakis. I think I pronounced that correctly. That probably is a Greek name, I'm guessing. But let's listen to what George has to say about Tesla's market share. This video has just come out.
Just out with new tax incentives for EV battery production, a market dominated by one country right now, and that's China. Phil LeBeau has the details and whether this could be the long-awaited boost to EV battery production here in America. Phil.
It will be.
By the way, Phil LeBeau tweeted today that Tesla missed everything, missed production delivery. So there's also that.
Don, there's no doubt about that. The question is, how quickly will we see that production, not just of battery packs, battery cells, but battery components? How quickly will it ramp up?
Let me know if the audio is okay as well.
So here are the new EV tax incentives that go into effect on April 18th. Remember, the most you can get is $7,500 if it's built here in the U.S., but it comes down to the battery. If the 40% of the value of the critical minerals in that battery are processed or sourced in North America or free trade countries, if that happens, then you get $3,750. Then it ramps up by value up to 80% by 2027. The other part of this, it comes down to the battery components. We're talking about cathode, anode, copper foil. If 50% of the value of those battery components are coming from the U.S. or free trade countries, then you will get another $3,750. And again, it ramps up to 100% by 2029. So what's the real implication in terms of how many people, or actually how many vehicles, that's really what we're talking about, will qualify for the full 7,500?
So this is the U.S. EV sales forecast, okay? So last fiscal year, 807,180 EVs sold in the U.S., projecting for about 1.2 million this year. In 2030, you'll see, and the chat's slightly blocking it, but I'll just read it out. 2030 projected 6.5 million U.S. EV sales. Throw in the chat over or under 6.5 million EVs in total sold in the U.S. in 2030, over or under that forecast for just the U.S. Throw in the chat.
Or even 3,750, we're going to see a hit in the number of vehicles that can get that, and that may impact EV sales, at least in the near term, maybe the next year, year and a half, because so many vehicles will not qualify. So much is sourced in China, still sourced in China, or processed in China. And then the battery components, while there is some coming from here, a lot of it is still coming from China. Though, when you look at somebody like Tesla, as you take a look at shares of Tesla, which, by the way, will report its deliveries for the first quarter over the weekend, Tesla gets its cathode, which is the most valuable part of the battery cell, that comes from a supplier in Japan. So Tesla is likely to have at least 3,750 still applied to its vehicles. All of the automakers, Dom, they're figuring it out. And by April 18th, we will know what vehicles will still qualify for either 3,750 or 7,500.
And of course, that is tax day here in America, April 18th this year. That's the significance there. Phil, stay with us. Let's also.
Tax day is the dumbest thing. Side note, like, I don't know. Do you guys find it beneficial to know to what point of the year are you working for free and then you get everything after? I don't know.
To bring in George Janarakis, an analyst over at Canaccord Genuity. George, as Phil mentioned, Tesla is dominating EV sales in the U.S. That stock is the best performing stock in the consumer discretionary sector in the first quarter. You have a buy on the stock. Do you see these new rules as the Treasury lays them out as a catalyst for Tesla and maybe the EV producers writ large, the sector as a whole from here?
Let's get one thing straight. This EV tax credit it doesn't necessarily help Tesla, relatively speaking. This is for legacy auto and new incumbents coming in that need this to be profitable or even sniffing profitability. We know they're not sniffing profitability right now. They need this. This is a lifeline to them. And to Tesla, this is the cherry on top of the cake.
Look, I firmly believe that Tesla has done the Treasury's job for it. I mean, if you remember earlier this year, they cut prices materially across the board to spur demand because they had seen a weakening at the end of 2022. And they're able, hopefully, to maintain their margins, auto margins at least 20%. So through innovation and through constant cost cutting, Tesla has spurred market demand through price reductions. And so that's why they're the leader in the space. That's why we think they'll maintain to increase market share throughout the year. And as a matter of fact, we pulled some data from China together from Q1. And as far as we can tell, the Chinese auto and EV market has weakened materially, but Tesla has actually could be up sequentially in China, which would be an incredible feat. And that's on the back of their price cuts, which has led them potentially to increase market share in Q1.
Okay, so George, I guess I'm curious from a bigger picture macro perspective as you lay out the case for EVs here in America, at least. How important are tax credits to the growth story of the U.S. EV makers or North American-based EV makers as opposed to those coming out of China? The reason I ask is because it appears as though China's EV manufacturing is rivaling U.S. EV manufacturing.
Yes.
And
Chinese EV manufacturing is kicking the crap out of U.S. EV manufacturing outside of Tesla.
That a spur of demand because of these tax credits, or do they largely not factor into the global story for many of these makers?
No, I think they matter a lot. They obviously matter for Tesla too, but less so because Tesla's been able to bring down their prices and they haven't had the benefit of the $7,500 for a couple of years at least. But to answer your question directly, these tax credits are important. I think what the government is trying to do is balance spurring the demand for electric vehicles while at the same time compelling companies to bring back production of batteries, cells, and components to the United States.
But why? Understand this. Why is the U.S. government so staunchly against China running the EV show? Why? And why is China so for EV production and willing to subsidize and do whatever it takes to get EV adoption and win the EV game? Why is it? Look, I think China realizes that the EV business is the new iPhone smartphone business. And what Apple did to take over market share, China does not want to see repeated with the EV business. At the end of the day, data is the new oil. And at the end of the day, EVs are going to be the new data metric, the new data hub. Do you want to know where someone is? Check their EV status. Do you want to not let someone leave their area? Lock their EV. China realizes this is an authoritarian government. And they know that, and this is getting a little bit dystopian. I don't mean to go here too much, but this is why China is so for pushing towards adopting EVs, because they realize in 10 or 20 years, whoever owns the EV game is going to own all that data in the same way that today Apple owns a large percentage of the smartphone share. And so the US is doing all that it can to bring in production locally, because the last thing they want is for China to have control of that moving forward. But here's the kicker that I think. I don't think US North American consumers are going to adopt EVs, Chinese EVs, in the way that I think even we adopt Huawei phones or Chinese phones. I just don't think it's going to happen, personally speaking. So
they are important. Today's guidance was expected. There are some nuances around which countries are in the free trade agreement, which countries we can't use in terms of being able to use the EV tax credit. But at the end of the day, the government is trying to create a balance between spurring EV demand and also compelling companies to bring back production to the United States.
No, Phil.
So there's George Giannakis from Canaccord Genuity. And you know what's funny as well? I don't even mean to sound very conspiracy theory, because at the end of the day, it's pretty simple. I mean, look at TikTok. Why are we even debating TikTok being banned? Because it's a data control issue. The data is going to exist somewhere. The question is, who's going to own that data, and who do we want owning that data? That's the bottom line question, right?
Expected to report its first quarter production and delivery numbers this weekend. And the report is usually a key driver for stock action. Josh Schaefer has been digging into what we've seen after past reports.
By the way, and this comment's great, Brian says, we love cheap shit, and lots of people will buy what they can afford. Even if they're cheaper, people will buy them. Though I agree generally with your sentiment here, look at the iPhone. I can get a Huawei, or I can get I can insert way better Android phone that's, let's say, produced as a Chinese brand today, has way better specs. But why do I buy an iPhone? Why does 30-40% of the market buy iPhones, and I think it's not because it's cheaper. So I think there's something to that, to what you're saying, but I don't think that's entirely the full case. People will do what they can to get what they want, and it's not always money talks. So.
You got for us?
Yeah, Shauna, so this is normally a moving day for Tesla. Normally the report comes over the weekend, as we're expecting it to come this weekend, and then it will move that following Monday. So the last time Tesla beat significantly was actually a little over a year ago, and that was it was the Q4 deliveries. That came in January 2022, and that was sort of the start of that run there. The stock jumped about.
Hey, is this the guy, shout out if anyone remembers this reference, is this the guy that was on his phone the entire stream 2 or 3 months ago now?
About 10% that day. And then you fast forward to April of that year, and that was right before the big drop here. This is Elon offering to buy Twitter, and that sort of started a big drop off for Tesla. But they also they had a small beat right before that. It was that jump right there. And so the stock moved up slightly on that. But then, of course, we had the Twitter drama, and we were a little bit downward for Tesla for a while there. And then you take a look at July. Over the summer, the stock had a very small movement then. That was because the report came out on July 1st or 2nd, and there wasn't any trading until July 5th. And it really wasn't that big of a difference as far as what Wall Street had been expecting to what actually happened with the numbers. Now, more recently, Tesla has fallen pretty significantly. So if you take a look here over the last year,
please don't remind us.
You'll see Tesla had a big drop in October. That October drop, it dropped about 10% that day as Tesla missed on deliveries. And then most recently, in January, Tesla also had a big drop, fell about 12% intraday, also having a big drop that day because they missed by about 15,000 cars, I should say. Now, the Bloomberg consensus estimate, Shauna, for this weekend, or what we expect to come this weekend, is 421,000 vehicles. So that will be the number to watch. You take a look, too, at Tesla year to date, we should note, has been on quite a wild ride, up about 70%. So it's been positive for the stock so far this year. This will be one of the key catalysts to see what happened with those price cuts, right?
This is the thing. Tesla has gone up, and he's completely right, a lot ahead of this news, right? So since March 13th, that trade, let me just draw a trend line 1 second. So since March 13th, Tesla has closed up 25%, right, in the last 15 trading days. So the question is, was Tesla priced for perfection? Were they priced for a massive beat heading into this? And that's kind of the $1 million question heading into tomorrow's trading days, to trying to see, okay, we couple Tesla being up 25% in the last 15 days. We couple that with a large pool of resistance. We're probably going to hit around the 200-day moving average. And for anyone that disagrees, look, the last time we were above the 200-day moving average was last September. And that was for about a week's time before we cracked below it again. We only tested it a couple other times last summer, and of course we were trading above it for years and years and years during that bull run. But it's been a tough time to sustainably be above that 200-day moving average in a long time. And if we couple that with a 25% rise, do we see Tesla get slapped off of the 200-day? Or if the stars align, maybe this is the one time that we actually break it and we hold above, and that's the start of a new bull run. This is something that you have to consider for yourself, but it's not going to be easy. So the consensus estimate, Boyle says, so much better than the Tesla bull community estimates this time. It's give and take. Look, I think what I appreciate the Tesla bull community for is not necessarily how accurate they are, but what they're missing, what they're hinting at that analysts might be missing on. Like tax loss deferred credits, or this note about the Cybertruck line, or this Model Y line, or extra margins coming in out of this line, stuff like that. And to be honest, the deliveries, look, I hate to say it, look, the deliveries were in line, that's fine, but none of this matters until we know what margins look like. If margins are in line, despite the price cut, if margins are, some are saying going to be way better, right? Yeah, you talk about economies of scale. You bring up volumes, you can have efficiencies, and you can lower margin. To be determined, to be seen. But the margins are the key story for this quarter. The key story for this quarter, I believe. So, Donald says a phone is not a car. You will not get killed by a lack of safety. I think this is talking about our conversation about the smartphones versus cars. But in the same way that a phone gives us all the personal data on a person and where they're traveling to, I think the smart car, aka EVs, are going to do somewhat the same as well. I'm going to throw in the StreamYard link in the chat as well if anyone wants to pop in, and we'll dig through some of our quarterly numbers as well. Reminder, if you missed it, 423,000 cars delivered for Tesla in quarter one of this year, 2023, up 36.4%. Oh, let me move my fat head. Up 36.43% year over year, over quarter one last year, and up sequentially quarter over quarter 4.37%, which, other than the 2016-2017 year, is the greatest growth quarter over quarter going into Q1 for Tesla over the previous quarter four. So, I mean, really, it's in line with expectations. Tesla's gone up. Now here's going to be the question. David says, if macro will be good this week, will it ignore any FUD out there since we've been down so much from all-time high? I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of FUD out there. I did see Reuters. Actually, let me pull it up on Twitter. I saw Reuters tweet this out earlier. I think I liked the tweet because Sawyer retweeted it. Let me look at my likes. Let's see here, right here. So Reuters tweeted, Tesla misses delivery estimates as price cuts fail to lure buyers. I'm not going to click on it. I think you kind of get the idea. Sawyer replying, quote tweeting saying, fail to lure buyers. It was an all-time record quarter for both deliveries and production. Company compiled and Bloomberg analyst estimates were 421,000. Tesla delivered 2,000 higher. Deliveries were up 36% year over year despite tough macro conditions and high interest rates. This is the bottom line, is that Tesla did well, yes, but how much better did they do than competition? Amazingly so. Amazing. And that's really what matters, right? These numbers matter. Of course, Tesla wants to hit their own targets internally. But if you talk relatively speaking, on a relative basis, Tesla hit it out of the park, right? And no other company at these types of volumes is growing the way Tesla's growing. And we talk about high interest rates. Like, what has anyone gotten a car loan? Leave me a comment of what your APR is on your car loan. I'm hearing some crazy numbers out there. I saw a tweet last week that someone said used car loans are going at 14% interest. 14. I didn't buy it. I had to ask our Juju gang in our Discord and say, is this even accurate? But if anyone's recently gotten a car loan, a used car loan specifically, even let me know what your interest rate is. It's just nuts. So of course Reuters is going to do what Reuters does. Reuters was also, by the way, let's not forget, Reuters was also the company also the news organization that said in quarter four, at the beginning of quarter four last year, in November sometime, I think they said Tesla will do 500,000 cars in quarter four. Who remembers that when they had that report out? 500,000, right? Just nuts. 5% on a new Model Y. Okay, Garden. So 5%. Why am I hearing there's this guy on Twitter, car dealership guy, who's like tweeting out used car loan interest rates? Why is he putting out like 12 to 14% interest rates? Is that only for used? Ecopop has gone 2.5 to 3.5, 3.99 for a 6-year on a Kia EV6. Is that discounted though? Like, is that dealership discounted, a dealership promo off of the interest rate? Like, 5.59. Bank rate says about 7% on a 48-month used car loan. So why is this used car dealership guy on Twitter going absolutely bananas with his numbers? I just didn't believe it. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a 5. Okay, so if you have a real, okay, yes, okay, that's a good point. Low credit scores. But that's always been the case. I mean, if you have a low credit score and you're getting a car loan, you're gonna get your interest rate's gonna be savage. It's gonna be savage. I think we know this. But yeah, I mean, if you have a good enough credit score, I mean, still a 6% for a car loan, it's, that's what kind of, like, mortgages are going for that, right? So, I mean, I guess what it is. Yeah, that's true. Dealers get a rebate by overcharging on the rate. Oh, okay, so they make the difference, maybe. This, I don't know. I tweeted out not too long ago. I said that I think Tesla should be, should get into the captive financing game because they have a lot of cash, and I got some pushback on that. But I still think if Tesla can deliver some sort of preferred, but I guess at the end of the day, if you give people a preferred interest rate or if you give them a discount off the car, net, it's the same thing, right? Just one has more of a marketing tinge to it. Maybe it's more complex accounting wise. So, yeah, mortgage rates are nuts as well. Reuters is using median average instead of mean. Oh, I think you mean to say average instead of the mean. Oh, interesting. Well, here, I'll open it up. Let's see how they're doing this. Is it locked? Maybe it's locked. Who wrote this article? Akash Shuriam and Hanujujin. I'm not familiar with these, but let's see. Actually, let's see what other articles they've written. Tesla's price wars, cheaper cars expect to drive record sales. Okay, pretty in line. EV charger makers brace for shutdown. Okay. Okay, whatever. Let's get to how they're analyzing this. So, Gene Munster quote: "If they wouldn't have done the price cut, it would have been ugly." I think it tells you that the economy is getting tough. Gene Munster, managing partner at Deepwater Asset Management, said on Sunday. Is Deepwater is Gene not part of Loop Ventures anymore? What did I miss here? Deepwater's Asset Management. Did I miss something? Is Loop Ventures rebranded? Whatever. Okay. They showed an acceleration, but they didn't accelerate to the level that Elon suggested they would. Look, I think what's also overdone, I think, is the price cut story, because though Tesla had MSRP, I don't think they actually sold very many cars at that MSRP. Because remember, there's always a lag, right? If Tesla has a price today and you order, you get that 2 months later. While maybe you're paying, maybe it's a different price then, right? So I think there's always that lag, and I'm very skeptical to wonder how many people actually paid that highest price that everyone is discounting back on, saying we're 10 or 20% down on. So. Ras showing us a Birds headline. Tesla beats on deliveries. The stakes are high after the stock had a monster quarter. Okay. I mean, that's more fair, I guess. Let's see here. Axel says, what's the latest on Cybertruck for Europe? Axel, don't hold your breath. Okay. That's just my friendly advice there. I look, I'm already telling my dad, I'm like, look, you're gonna be waiting years for the Cybertruck up here in Canada. There's so much demand in the States. And plus, I don't even know if the Cybertruck will be street legal in Europe, considering how small some streets are in some areas. So I just think it's gonna be a long time coming there. Lex, how's it going, my friend? Hey, actually just got FSD V11. It's awesome. Let's go for another FSD drive. Awesome. If you guys don't know, I have a video out with Lex, who generously invited me to try FSD for the first time, FSD Beta, I should say, in his Model Y. Go check that video out. Probably from, I want to say September of this year, if I'm not wrong. That's awesome. I am totally down. My schedule's a little bit more tight nowadays, but definitely I am down. V11, I'm excited. T. Nelly says, Yash, what's your gut feeling about Monday stock movement? Won't hold you to it. We talked a little bit about this. We had kind of a pseudo poll for this. I think flat. That's my guess. Barring macro, independent of macro, I think we probably trade right around flattish, give or take. Like 1% either way would not surprise me. And I think 1% is probably 1% is pretty much a nothing burger nowadays. What's the options flow looking like, Hadouken says, for the coming up week? I'll just take some questions now. Also Marco on Discord showing the crash videos April Fool looking. Oh yes, Marco pointed out a good point. There's some buckles in the Cybertruck actually, so I don't know how legit it's gonna be just yet. Let me pull up the options order flow. Actually, hold on one second. Come on, where's the net flow? Okay, let's pull up net flow for Tesla, and I'll pull that up on my screen here, shall we? Chrome. Let's pull this up. Actually looking pretty decent. Wow, actually. So options flow for Tesla is looking pretty decent heading into next week. A lot of call buying to end the trading session on Friday, heading into this week. So we're actually heading into a green options flow week. So I guess we shall see. And he got burned on covered calls last week. Yes. Well, might have to hold your breath again. Let's start on new product for China. Oh, Ben, thank you, my friend, for reminding me. I've got it pulled up here. Where is it? Damn, where is it? I had it as a tab. I swear. Okay, hold on. Who would have tweeted out? I think Sawyer probably would have tweeted it out. Sawyer's my go-to. Whenever I need a compiled consensus short piece of information, I know he's probably retweeted it or given info on it. So if you haven't heard, news, Tesla China continues to tease its new Cybertruck inspired charging product one day until full unveil. Quote, high strength, low carbon steel box body, integrated stamping and forming process, extraordinary texture, safe and reliable. Check it out. I think it looks really nice. But then again, I'm a sucker for matte black. Don't know what it is. That finish is just lovely. I just love it. I guess we'll see. This would be good, Anif. This would be good. Maybe give it 2 years. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of covered calls. A lot of people in covered calls are getting burned. But then again, look, when you sell covered calls, you kind of have that risk. And I think a win's a win. You can always buy back your stock, right? Thank you, Donald, my friend. Donald went back. Published on September 21st, 2022. See, my memory is not terrible. And you know what's crazy? It's already April. The fact that, so how many months total? So let's say April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months until that's, so we're about 6 months off from that. Half a year. It's been half a year. That's nuts. That is nuts. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, Brian. Taking the kids for lunch. Everyone go follow him as well. So awesome. I'm going to leave it out here. We got an exciting week ahead. Remember, summary, okay? Tesla beats analyst compiled consensus for deliveries only by a couple thousand. Reuters reporting a huge miss. Who cares? I think the stock will be flat-ish heading into next week. Couple things to watch is going to be, other than macro, is going to be the 200-day moving average sitting at $215 currently as a level. I think it's going to be a tough level. It's going to be some outsized resistance there. A lot of sell orders probably from traders. They're going to take profits in that 210 to 215 area. Closing above it on the daily is kind of key, but having that follow through day is something to watch as well, in my opinion. So those are the things I'm looking at heading into this week. Of course, did I even say what day earnings is? Earnings is Wednesday, April 19th. I won't be able to live stream that, but we'll do a debrief after. And we'll take it from there. All right, go back and watch any part of this that you want. I'll try to throw timestamps. I'll try to clip this out for heading into this week. Last week, I forgot to clip it out, and then I just got busy. But this week, I will clip out some portions of this, specifically the CNBC interview and the Yahoo Finance interview. Go back and watch it. We talked about pretty much everything that I've highlighted, we've talked about. All right. Much love. Thank you for tuning in to me on a Sunday. As always, remember, weekly Sunday live streams, 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell for impromptu live streams. And then I like to do close to semi-daily videos out and about on walks, giving my thoughts. So hopefully you guys like kind of the format heading forward. All right, if you want to tune into our Discord, remember, bring the good juju if you're going to tune into our Juju Discord chat. Patreon link, $5 per month. Patreon.com/hit that bed gets you in. YouTube membership over $5 per month also gets you in. It helps support the channel, but no pressure. You don't have to feel inclined to do so. But I'll catch everyone on Discord moving forward there. Much love. Thank you for an awesome Sunday live stream. Remember, I used to tune out with the Friday live stream for years saying this. I'll tune into the Sunday. Have an awesome week ahead. Remember, prioritize what's important to you. Health is always there. Go for walks. Do whatever you need to be there mentally. And as always, much love. Yash, you're tuning off. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.